Well, if you've been following along with Oz's bus here, it couldn't make it up, if you remember, it couldn't make it up the hill under its own power. It was just very, very doggedy. Just didn't have the power to do it. And it was smoking a lot on startup, especially from, it's got a split manifold on it. So one side of the cylinder banks was really smoking. So it was very hard start and a lot of smoking. So we were tearing down the engine, and this is day 2 of us going through the engine. I'll put a link to the first video. So in case you catch this one, you probably want to watch the other one first. Is it coming?
Yeah. It moved. I think those, a couple of these are holding it stuck. Oh, now we're in a pickle. this bar.
Well, one good thing, there was no debris in the oil pan other than some chunks of Permatex. It's like a gray Permatex from somewhere. Don't really know where, but there's blue Permatex down there on that little pickup area. But yeah, there was just no metal debris down in there, so relatively clean pan. This cylinder, you can see all that soot was coming up, getting past between there's a crush ring on the top. Between the crush ring and the top, the soot was coming out. So it wasn't, and there's even soot in between this cylinder and the next cylinder. That one too. Definitely a power loss. So you see this ring on here, there's a crush ring that goes on the head, and all the combustion is supposed to happen inside that circle. We come over here to this one, and we were getting a little bit of soot on the outside there. So there was getting some blow-by coming out, I'll call it blow-by. The exhaust gases are escaping into that ring. And look at this one. Tons of soot just coming out. That's all soot. It was leaking from below the ring, below the crush ring, because I see the circle is still all the way around. Same thing there, soot coming out. And I'll show you on the head, or yeah, the actual, on the block. You can see how it's coming out in the block there. Same thing with all the carbon buildup on the outside there. Here you can see soot on the inside of the crush ring. Jonathan's going to spin the fan down there to drive the piston to push the liner out here.
Which way do you spin it?
I don't think it matters which way it does it.
Push this piston as well.
It should go with it to get it to the top. I think you're about there. And then I'll try to, that's it right there. Over there. I'll grab it out of there.
Push on it.
Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Let me get this crush ring off. Oh, it's gonna take 2 hands.
The bearing stayed with me.
The bearing came off down there, you said?
I found it.
That bearing actually looks pretty good compared to some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad. Okay, does that say 5 and that says 1? interesting. This is number 1, right?
Yeah.
Get the nuts.
Yep. Just gotta rotate it a little bit more. Stop it.
Yeah. So these are 30 thousandths oversized bearings. And this one, these don't look so good. Taking off. Let's do the main bearing cap. Nice. That's a good sound. Okay. We're removing the blower now. There's basically 8 bolts that hold it on. 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. And then we're going to remove the hose over there, loosen up that clamp at the bottom of the oil cooler, or top of the oil cooler. And then we loosen up the clamp over there on the lower drive gear. And we've already got the fuel lines disconnected, so it'll just slide right off of there.
I don't know what the torque spec for those are.
More than what that was.
Yeah, I don't think I did anything. Bottom drive.
Yeah, you have to lift and slide it down just a little bit. That the gear that holds at the end is only like 1 inch embedded in the end, and once you get that 1 inch out, it'll come. Just keep one hand on it to hold it. There's actually 2 little things that hold it. As long as you're keeping pressure on it, it can't slip off. I usually put like one hand under the governor right here, and then you can have one hand in there. You gotta peel it away from the block a little bit. That gasket really stuck on there, huh? We're worried about it falling off. Let's get a pry bar behind it. Slide it down. It should slide. There you go. Now you should be able to come back this way with it. I don't know if I'd hold it by that tube right there. You can hold it by the fuel pump. That'd be good. Sometimes those tubes are just barely held on. Oh. Slide it down just a hair more. Keep going. The blower drive shaft is. Go back in. Oh man. I forgot. The kind of drive shaft that's on here is hooked on the back side because it does the power steering pump. So it's got to go considerably farther that way. Is it going to make it? Let me get a dish for those. just slide back over onto the drive shaft thing. Fuel line that's like a
solid.
let me loosen it because it doesn't bend anymore. It's got a bunch of oil in it, so be careful. And coolant. Just set it down over here.
Sit down to where it won't do that.
None of the other ones are stamped or marked. So we'll look at the part numbers that are in there, but they were all very loose fitting. There's that slimy stuff too, but yeah, even that stuff, that's very weird, whatever that is.
Yeah, all this. I don't know what that is. Like fuzzy or something.
That's the biological stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that only ran for like 10 minutes in there. So.
Yeah. Look at the bottom. All that gooey, algae looking stuff.
Okay, well, a few things could be going on. One is that the block could be warped. We'll check it for straightness. I don't think that's going to be the issue. The head could be warped. I don't think that's the issue because that head just came out of the machine shop. It's only got a couple thousand miles on it. That was the head that used to be my head that came off of my bus, my old 2-valve. When I went to upgraded to a 4-valve, I sold them my 2-valve head. So I don't think it's the head. I don't think that the head wasn't torqued properly because when we took off the nuts, everything seemed like the same tension. When we took it off, nothing was like absurdly loose. They were all very, very tight and hard to get off. None of them were easy. So possibly when the engine was rebuilt, the liners, when they go in there, there's actually a clearance between the top of the block here and where the liner's at. We check the heights on it. It's supposed to be 0.045 to 0.050 across the board on everything. And then the most important part is no two adjacent cylinder liners can be more than 0.002 difference between the height. So perhaps these were this was higher and this was lower, 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 higher, and they weren't checked. Or perhaps things didn't get cleaned as well or something when they put the new head on. Maybe there was some gunk in there or something and it just didn't set us. I don't think that would be the case because it was 3 in a row that would have had to been low to do that. So I'm not really sure. But whatever it is, we're gonna check it out. We're gonna check this for straight. We're gonna check the head for straight, and then I can clean everything and put the liners back in and measure the heights. I didn't see any shims. There's the larger rings in here, but I saw no individual shims on anything. So it's rare to not have any shims in there. So my guess is it wasn't set up right from the beginning, but we're gonna check that out. Okay, so this still has the oil bath air filter housings in here, but they changed it to go to a paper cartridge filter. And this is how everything, you can see here, if this isn't exactly centered in there the way they have it, you can see this little ring here, that indentation where it was up in there, but then there's nothing, so the dirt can come over it. It wasn't sealing all the way. And this one's the same way, it wasn't centered in there properly, so dirty air was getting around it. They put a piece of wood on the bottom with this to make it the right height, still fit in the bottom cup, and then have it go into there. And yeah, that system wasn't working. It'd be nice to go back to the oil bath. Those are a really good air filter, but this allowed dirty air to get in there, which caused that blower to have so much debris go through it. I haven't pulled all the pistons out yet, but one thing, all the liners were pretty ill-fitting, but there's not really major hot spots on them like I would have expected to see for something that wasn't fit as well. A couple of them have some, because again, this engine had been overheated. But Yeah, we'll get the liners properly, the right liners in there, fit right. One of them is an oversized, marked as an oversized, but we'll measure everything. We haven't ordered any parts yet. We know the bearings are all 30 thous over, but we're gonna keep going through all this and go from there. We'll keep tearing things down and cleaning things up. But today was just let's start taking things apart and see what we got. And now we got to figure out exactly what we do have. This little table comes in handy. It's on wheels. It's from Gear Wrench. Roll it around, keep our tools on it. While you're tearing down the engine, you can set some parts on it and stuff too. And it does hold a lot of weight, but it does come in really handy, and we like to use it for stuff like that. This is one of those crush rings that go on top of the liner. That one was sealing really good. This one was not. And that one was doing good. Let's see, it was clean on the top too. Kind of amazing that it was even firing on those cylinders, but it definitely was, just not as well. And that blower was really dirty inside. Just touching there, there's debris. Literally a grain of sand going through there makes a noise. It's pretty worn out.
See that white smoke rising up the holler through the trees, and from a mile away you can hear them play as they climb that hill with ease. But at the top of that mountain there's a new life waiting for those who can make the run. If they can make it to the top, Scott will put them in the shop till their new life has begun. Mountain, where the buses come to run. Bus Grease Mountain, we're gonna get that big job done.